In tonight's cover story, today marks 50 years since the fall of Saigon. The end of the Vietnam War was a pivotal moment in U.S. history.
It also brought a wave of refugees to Chicago, forever changing the city's landscape. WGN's Mike Lowe reports.
There is a section of Chicago's uptown neighborhood known as Asia on Argyle, a neighborhood whose seeds were planted a half-century ago, 8,700 miles and a world away.
So we actually fled Saigon before April 30th, a couple of days before.
Doug Nguyen was just 10 years old on April 30th, 1975, when communist North Vietnamese forces captured the South Vietnamese capital of Saigon.
You saw people climbing over barbed fencing around the American embassy. You saw people trying to jump on the back of cargo planes and airplanes, even though it was taking off.
U.S. ally South Vietnam surrendered, bringing an end to the Vietnam War as the final helicopter left the American embassy.
That shot is the epitome of the end of the Vietnam War era. The shot of the people boarding that helicopter.
Nguyen's father, a South Vietnamese soldier, had been killed in the war. He and his mother escaped and were brought to a refugee camp in Arkansas.
We left everything we had behind. Just had your clothes on your back, and we left on a cargo plane. They pushed everybody in as much as they could to fly us out of Saigon. Back when I first moved up to Chicago, I volunteered as a after-school youth tutor here.
Eventually, he moved to Chicago.
And now you're the president of the board.
President. The community gathering is a collaborative effort. The refugees found themselves in these ethnic enclaves like Uptown and formed their own communities.
Where a community of thousands of Vietnamese refugees settled and created a new home.
Historical photos of the Vietnamese community here in Chicago, beginning in the 70s through the present time.
The refugees blended Vietnamese culture with Chicago style.
Sports became, something that unified young people. Here's the Chicago White Sox jersey, right? So we play both sides of the town.
Illinois now has 40,000 residents of Vietnamese descent. Half of them are in Chicago. It's a lasting legacy of the fall of Saigon, a vibrant Asia on Argyle, where shop owners trim trees and make bubble teas.
To be able to come to a new land, right, to be resettled in a country in which you don't know the language, you don't understand the culture, there might be some political context that you're not filled in on, and to be able to revitalize neighborhoods and communities. And so, yeah, you see little Saigons all over the United States as a result of the work that Vietnamese refugees have built.
Van Nguyen is the executive director of the Vietnamese Association of Illinois.
I think April 30th has always represented a very heavy and somber moment in my family.
She says April 30th is a time to both reflect on the end of the war and recognize the new beginning it brought.
Oftentimes when people think about Vietnamese people, they think about the Vietnam War. But obviously, it's more than that. April 30th is also about more than the end of a war, but how people sought to rebuild after that.
In Uptown, Mike Lowe, WGN News.